Hey guys, welcome back. We have completed chapter 20. We were able to kill the boss in about 15 seconds. I swapped out one hero that made this possible. We're going to get into the build, we're going to get into the talents, and I'm also going to show you that because of this new build that I swapped in, I'm able to do it with just a 2-man. It's not going to be 15 seconds. I think it's going to be about 22 seconds. Well, we'll take a look at that and let's get into the video. Okay, so let's get started with the new guy. We are still running a priest, but we switched out the build. So instead of running Slime Rain, I'm going to be running the Uruk set. The Uruk set gives us these totems that generate massive shields and buff our allies. So let's take a look at what this set does. For the 2-piece, we have when placing a totem, all allies gain a shield equal to 200% dexterity. For the 4-piece, each active totem, your buff effect is increased by 30% and buff duration by 30%. This is really strong. It's able to keep my minions alive. As you can see in my top lane, the minions don't die anymore. So the DPS is just going and going and going. Okay, so for other items that are not part of the set, we're running Ancestor's Call. Does not need to be mythic, but mandatory for the build. We are running Defiance. Defiance is mandatory for the build. This is giving us the Banner of Struggle. This is a rune word, so it's giving us additional skill. The Banner of Struggle plants a battle flag, grants allies a shield per second, and grants 1 stack of metal. This is keeping your team alive just as much as the totems that you're putting down is. Really super important for the build. You can still get away with running the Uruk's 4-piece set. I would definitely try to get this as soon as possible if you want to keep pushing. For our gloves, we're running the Ghoul Hide. Ghoul Hide, mandatory because you need that extra dexterity. It's giving us an additional 20%. So in a perfect world, if I got the mythic version, I'd be running it over here. Because the mythic version, I believe it wouldn't take away my dodge value. So the Ghoul Hide mythic gloves would be really good. For my other piece that's not part of the set is Compassion Tomb. Not needed for the build at all. It's here because I didn't really have anything else to put. I probably want to put a rune word here at some point. So when you're doing this build, you want to go into the guide and you want to make sure whatever character that you want to push with, you have these talents here. If you don't have these talents, you might have to keep on purchasing different prisoners to get these talents from the recommended guide. Some of these are pretty important. You can get them through inspiration. We're going to take a look at inspiration after we get through all 3 of these videos, or all 3 of these build guides. So character number 2, we have our DPS. He is still running the Bardo set. He has the 2-set bonus. Archer Guard attacks compares to 1 additional enemy. The 4-piece set, Motivation and Warcry has 200% increased effect on your Archer Guard. Really good set, mandatory to get this build going. Now an update we have to the build is that we have a mythic version of the Bonebreaker. This is a level 96 piece of gear, and I upgraded in the workshop to level 47. I'm getting a ton of damage out of this item. Really good for the build, super important. We're still running the Void Hand on the gloves. This is giving us, when summoning a minion, 45% chance of summoning 2 additional minions. This ends up triggering this passive. Let's see, Formation. This ends up triggering our Formation passive quite a bit. So we get double the minions. We're getting 22% more damage to all attacks for each minion. This is the passive that makes this build work. If you get a version of this character that does not have Formation, you can't use them. Now you can get it through inspiration. It is super expensive. So if you don't get them from bewitching them, I probably wouldn't use them. Okay? Formation is mandatory to get all that extra damage. Okay, so we have 2 more items to go over. So we have the Ballista rune word. So we have a rune word that gives us unlock mercenary skill Ballista Sentry level 5. So this is going to go hand in hand with this ring. At first, I didn't think the Shattered Oath was really good for this build, but now that I look at it with the ballistas, I am getting additional elemental damage from the Shattered Oath. So the Shattered Oath, when a minion dies, gain 15% increased elemental attack for 5 seconds. My Ballista Sentry is doing penetrating bolts, dealing pierce damage and lightning damage. So instead of yesterday, my ballistas were only doing a couple of percentages of damage. Just take a look at my stats now when this level starts. My ballistas are doing quite a bit more damage than they were yesterday. Let's see. So if we're looking ballistas and archer guard was like really high up here, and ballista's still there. Ballista's doing a ton of damage now. So this is as much of a ballista build as it is an archer build. Last but not least, we have our tank. Now, I'm running the Hunter with the Carol set. This is the same as it was in the last build, but let's go over it for anyone that's new here. The 2-piece bonus, Vanish into Shadow, grants 30% crit resist and reduces spell cost by 30%. The 4-piece Raptor Strike has a 30% chance to reset Vanish of the Shadow cooldown. So items that are not part of the 4-piece, we're running the Undercurrent. When casting a spell skill, have a 25% chance to restore 5% mana. Really needed for the build because this is a very mana heavy build. It's a very spammy build. For the amulet, the Shadow Pendant, the Hunter skill Vanish from the Shadow has its cooldown reduced and loses its purge effect. This build can work without this. It's just you're not going to have as many chances to cast Vanish in the Shadow, but it's still very possible to work. So we're running 2 mythics, the Wings of the Shadow, when hit 40% chance to gain 15% increased dodge value, and then when attacked have 40% chance to gain 12% basic attack speed. Does not have to be mythic, it's just nice to have it. I think I would prefer to get the Undercurrent as a mythic, which I'm fishing for right now. So we changed out our chest piece. We're running the Alphonse's armor. This armor, when you take a critical strike, all allies gain crit resist. Well, all allies crit resist is increased by 16%. So instead of running the other one, which is more of a damage chest, this is pure tank. Really helpful to keep the team alive. Because of how strong 2 of the character synergy of this build is, we're able to run only 2 of them. We don't need a tank. So let's take out our tank and we're gonna go fight the boss, okay? So let's take him out. Level 20 boss. And we're still gonna kill it super quick. Because of these shields generated by my priest, we're blasting the boss, just decimating him. Actually, we might get a good time. Maybe it's, let's see, 18 seconds. Or no, 15, wow, 15 seconds. So I'm killing the boss just as fast with or without this guy. Okay, so maybe he's useless. Nah, he is useful. He does give us strike aura, but I'm feeling like there is some type of DPS cap or something, because I tried to run 2 versions of my archer build with this and see if it was quicker. Let's throw him in here now, actually. He's part of this team. That's a question I have about the game is, I put 2 versions of this archer build. This guy is not nearly as strong as the other one, but you would think it's going to be less than 15 seconds, right? I think it ends up being more, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't know if there's something about how many minions could be on the string, but 17 seconds. So I don't know how the the time would be more with 2 DPSs running the same build. But we'll take a look at that at some point. Let's take a look at talents. So if you're trying to push, you really want to have a character with good talents. So if you go to the recommended guide, it's pretty helpful. And if you don't have one of these talents that is telling you, your build will suffer because it's not going to work the way it's intended. Okay, so if you have, like I said earlier, if you have a Archer Guard build, but you don't have formation, the build is dead. It's not going to push, right? So you really want to get your characters with these talents. So the first way to do it is when you go to the prison and you bewitch somebody, they will get random talents when they come out, right? So say you are broke and you don't have any more gold to keep bewitching. There is a way to get additional talents later on in the game. This is not an early game strategy, it's more late game, and it's super expensive. You can inspire your character. And inspiration, let me go to a character that doesn't have any additional skills. So if you inspire, it costs blood. Every time you hit inspire, you get an additional random talent. The talents go up to level 8, so I don't think you could get the same max level as you would if it was already on your base character. So if it's one of those mandatory talents like formation, I wouldn't try to get it this way. Okay, so you really want to roll your character with some of the really, really super strong talents. But some of the passive talents, like for your main stat and things like that, you can get it from here. So as you level up, you can unlock up to 4. So if I keep on clicking inspire, right, it gives you more and more talents that ends up going towards your build. Now, if you don't like what you rolled, you could click on a dark star and you can remove the last talent. So say you like the first one and you don't like the second one, you can just click on this and it will refund it. Now, the reason why this is super expensive is because dark stars are super expensive. To get dark stars, you have to transform void stars in the sanctum and you have to combine them. Now, void stars are needed a lot, so you don't really want to keep spending these and re-rolling your talents. If it's your main DPS, yeah, you want to have your talents having all DPS talents. So let's take a look at my Archer Guard. So the talents that I got on this guy are what? We got Scholar, Strength, Dexterity, and Intelligence. We are running 5,000 Strength on this build right now. This is thanks to an additional talent that we got from Inspiration. Okay, I think this is a talent from the Priest or the Mage. So Skilled, spell cost minus 12%, support skill speed plus 13%. This I could probably re-roll. I kind of left it because I was running out of talents, or I was running out of these dark stars. Berserk, we get additional 10% dexterity plus 20% slash damage. I do like having the extra dex. And Divinity, plus 10% strength, 10% intelligence. So these are really good source of power for your build. I'll keep on maxing out Divinity as I get more talent points, but I haven't been able to do that yet. So I am still testing other builds. I want to find some more cracked combos that can break the game and push even further, because we do have to get into the Doom levels and things and Outlands. There's still more to do, so we're not done with the game yet. We did clear chapter 20, but we're not done. So I've been using my lane 2 and 3 as more experimental and trying to figure out other combos. My lane 2 right now is running Fire Slash and Fire Demon. I don't really think it's that great. Let's see how far we got with these guys. I don't think they got too far. 18, right? My bottom lane, I have to put but I was running, my bottom lane is dirt. So we're not even looking at the bottom lane. So these guys are all getting, as I get items, I start putting them on these guys. And what I do is once I get a full build, I'll swap them in and see if they could juice up a certain other build. And I also want to try builds that are not recommended. You know, some of these things I have on right now, I ended up doing it just based on my own, you know, I guess knowledge of the game at this point. But I want to start doing a little bit more crazy builds, more Frankenstein builds, and mixing and matching. So we'll see how that goes. I do appreciate the comments, guys. I appreciate the likes and subscriptions from the last video. I do want to hear more builds. I did see a couple other builds. I see a couple other people are running this totem. The totem is super strong. Guys, please comment below any additional builds that you want to see. Any questions, comments, concerns. I will be sure to answer that comment as soon as possible. Guys, thanks for watching. If you find this information helpful or useful, please like and subscribe. Riff out.